welcome. I am Carrie Wheeler, and today I'm going to share some information with you that has made a significant difference in my life. It's made a big difference in my life. And obviously, in this short amount of time, I don't have at my command of time to be able to impart everything that I've learned within the model and teaching of what I'm going to share with you. But I assure you this, each and every one of you will be able to leave here today with at least something that you can apply to your life immediately. It will make a big difference in your life, and it will add value to your life, and add value to the lives of other people. So who wants to add value to their life and add value to the lives of other people? And I know this, for some of you, today is going to be the start of your journey. In other words, you're going to hear something, you're going to see something, you're going to think something that is going to trigger what has been emerging from yourself. All of us are here today because we all want to be, do, and have more. It's just who we are as spiritual beings. We go up higher. And so we get to a point where we have to expand. And for you, your next step would be to move into a program with me, and I promise I'll give you time at the end to take advantage of that. It's called Unmask Your Authentic Self. And it's a 10-step system for becoming your true authentic self, discovering your personal truth of who you are, your core of where you are. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is where it begins. We were talking about acorns earlier. So this is where it begins. It starts with a seed. So everything begins with a seed, and then it takes root from there. For women, this is what we come up with. Business, family, spirituality, health and fitness, relationship and sex, education, fun and relaxation. And the last one that I think we all want is just to be able to say, after ripping and running, going to this and going to that, that's what, as women, that's what we have to do. We have to juggle all of these things. And so as women, we are the foundation of our households. We are the foundation. We control the energy of our household. We control the energy of our kids. We control everything. So when we're doing all of this, it's like, how do I get it all done? So there were 3 salesmen. They sell farm equipment. And they had to travel to each from different parts of the country. And so they had to travel to the center part of the country for training to learn about different farm equipment to be sold. And so there were 3 of them. One was a Hindu, one was a Jew, and one was a practicing negative person. So throughout the whole week, he just complained and moaned and groaned, complained and moaned and groaned, complained and moaned. And so the other 2, they were like, oh my God, I can't wait till Friday comes so we can get out of here. I go to my part of the country, you go to your part of the country, we don't have to deal with him. So on Friday, they finished their last stop, their last sales call, and they were about 25 minutes from the airport, and their flight was going to be leaving. Well, they had car trouble. And so, our favorite, Mr. Moan, he started griping and complaining. And the other 2 was, well, wait a minute, it might not be that bad. Up the hill, I see a barn. Let's go up there and see if we can get some help. So they hiked up the hill, and they knocked on the door. And old Sam came to the door, and he, just moving real slow. And he said, how can I help you? He said, we are going to miss our flight, and we need to know if there's an auto mechanic that can help us. He looked at his watch, and he said, it's 5:15. His shop closed at 5. He said, but I tell you what, I can put you guys up for the night. I have a spare room, I have a bunk, you guys can take a shower, I'll feed you, it'd be great. 2, grateful, absolutely grateful. The other one, moaning and grinding. So after dinner, they got the shower and everything, they had to decide the sleeping arrangements. And so the Hindu said, you know what, you guys take the 2 bunk beds, you guys take that, it's fine. I'll go sleep in the barn. So they start to bed down, and about 30 minutes later, there's a knock at the door. And it's the Hindu, he says, guys, I'm so sorry, but in my part of the country, cows are sacred. You can't sleep with the cows because, it just goes against his culture and his religion. And so the Jew says, that's fine, you stay here with him, I'll go to the barn and be fine. So the other two were getting ready to bed down. And then about 30 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. And it was a Jew, and he said, guys, I'm sorry, but I can't sleep in the barn either because there's a pig in there. Pigs are unclean in my country, and I cannot be in the presence of a pig. So Mr. Gripe, he says, you know what, just forget it. So he gets his blanket and he says, I'm not going to get any sleep anyway. I'll get out of here and I'll go. So he goes out to the barn, the two bed down, and about 30 minutes later, there's a knock at the door. It's the pig in the cow. Yeah, so we're talking about energy. Some energy is good and some energy is bad. So, what I have discovered that the quality of life is determined by the quality of questions that we ask. So we can ask a question as simple as, how am I going to get to the egg and I by 11 o'clock with ease and grace? All that. Or we can ask the question, how is it possible for me to get to the egg and I at 11 o'clock? With a lot of excitement. And that's what she got, a ton of excitement. So the quality of questions determine our lives. So we can ask the question, how can I take 2 weeks off with a paid vacation? Or you can simply ask the question, how can I take 2 weeks off and travel to the south of France and get paid $10,000 while doing it? So it doesn't matter. The questions that we ask, it doesn't matter what those questions are. It's your belief system that goes behind it. So right here, the Concord conversation. In this house right here, it's in Concord, Massachusetts. The owner of this house is Emerson. And so on Sunday evenings, they would come together and come up with philosophy and to make the country the way it is today. So on Sunday evenings, they would meet in the parlor and they would drink whiskey and smoke cigars, and they would have these discussions. Well, the handyman, Emerson was fond of him, and so he thought that he would do him a favor and allow him to sit outside the door to listen in, and maybe you can learn something. So I'll allow you to sit outside the door and learn something. Well, so week after week after week, they couldn't help but realize that the gentleman sitting outside the door, he was casting in so much wisdom and so much information that they had to invite him in. Even though he didn't have the stature, he didn't have the education, he didn't have the status, but the information that he was throwing in was just so incredible. And that gentleman is Henry David Thoreau. I'm sure some of you absolutely. So what Emerson decided, he said he wants to do an experiment. So he stayed here. You saw that house.
Yeah, and it is as big as this table.
That's what I heard. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
So he said he wanted to do an experiment. He wanted to live 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. And he wanted to suck the marrow out of the likeness. He wanted to know exactly what it took to make his life just blossom. So that's what he did. He did an experiment. And what he came up with this quote. If a person will advance confidently in the direction of their dream and endeavor to live the life that they have imagined, they will meet with success, unexpected, and common hours. One of my favorite quotes. And let's break this down. It says if. So you don't have to. But what I'm going to show you, it's a code to how the universe works. If a person advances confidently, and how do you advance confidently? You move towards something, not necessarily knowing how to do it, but believing that what you're doing is going to come true. If one advances confident, then endeavor. Well, when you endeavor in doing something, you just do the best that you can with the information that you have. And as you take the first step, I promise you the next step or the next action is going to come with you. As soon as you take that first step, another door is going to open. So then you endeavor and meet success in unexpected common hours. This is when the out of the blues and oh my gosh, you're not going to believe it happens. This is when the universe just rushes to bring everything to you. It's like, okay, like for an example with James. You know, he met Tony Harris. Tony introduced him to me. I've introduced him to Marla. So it's just, and he said that. He said it's just out of the blue all this stuff is happening. So that's the uncommon hours. Light socket. When I came into this room, I plugged my computer in and I advanced confidently because I knew that it was going to work. The law of electricity. If it didn't work, then I would have not said, got on my knees and said, oh God, please allow me to have electricity. If it's in your will, please allow you don't do that. You just know that there's something wrong with the connection. You know, there's something wrong with the cord, the plug. It's something, you know, you just find out where that's not lining up, and then you get your power. So we believe in the law of electricity, but we don't believe in the law of the universe. It's the same difference. So I'm going to read something to you. I am your constant companion. I am your greatest helper and your heaviest burden. I will push you onward and drag you down to failure. I am completely at your command. Half of the things you do, you might just as well turn over to me, and I will be able to do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed. You must merely be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of all great men, and the alias of all the failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made failures. I am not a machine, though I work with all the precision of a machine, plus the intelligence of a man. You may run me for profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will put the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? Who?
Habit. Subconscious.
I am your thinking. Yeah. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, this is what happens to us.
Training fleas requires a glass jar with a lid. The fleas are placed inside the jar and the lid is then sealed. They are left undisturbed for 3 days. Then, when the jar is opened, the fleas will not jump out. In fact, the fleas will never jump higher than the level set by the lid. Their behavior is now set for the rest of their lives. And, when these fleas reproduce, their offspring will automatically follow their example.
But that's what happens. That's what happens when we allow our conditions to control us. So, what do you want? So, on the full spectrum of life, what do you want? What do you want your relationships to look like? What do you want your career to look like? What do you want your time and freedom to look like? What do you want your health to look like? What is it that you want? So, if you are to build a house, you have a blueprint, and you are very detailed in what you know what that house is going to look like. You know what the breakfast area is going to look like. You know what the master bedroom is going to look like. You know what the outside decoration looks like. Because you see it and you actually plan for it. So that holds true with our lives. You're either going to live your life by design or by default. And unfortunately, most people live their lives out of default versus design. So our mind thinks in pictures. If you have a picture of what it is you want to do, then it's so much easier for it to come to you. So that's what happens. Our mind thinks in pictures. And so, like I said, you're going to live your life by default or you're going to live your life by design. And so today you're going to get a blueprint of what it is you want. What is your dream? What is it that you want? What would you love? What do you want your life to look like? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend some time going over that. So when you're defining your dream and defining your life, you have to figure out what it is you love. And so a good balance for that. So you pay attention to your longings, and then you pay attention to your discontent. And your longings is that makes your heart sing. It's that makes you just go, I just enjoy doing that. Discontent is when you have to do something and you get resistance from it. You got to make, then that's something that's not resonating with you on a deeper level. So when you think in pictures, we're going to go into imagination state in just a few minutes. So your evening's going to have to be put on hold for just a minute. So what I would like you to do, I want you to open up your box of imagination. And as kids, we were taught and trained not to daydream. We were taught and trained not to use your imagination. But the next hour, I want you and encourage you to allow your imagination to run free and go back into like a childlike activity. So in just a moment, we're going to share our dreams with each other, and we're going to do this in a particular way. And this has been researched over many, many years. And how I will walk you through this process is really works if you just put it on. So it's like an acorn. It starts out and then it grows into a huge, beautiful oak tree. But it starts out as a seed. So the secret is in the seed. And it's up to you to allow it to sow into your future. So let's just check in with our lives for a minute, all right? So I'm actually stop eating at this moment. And you're gonna have a partner. So actually, before we get started, decide who your partner is gonna be. Who's gonna be A or B? Doesn't matter. Who are the A's? Okay. So let's just check in with our lives for a minute, all right? I want to invite you to close your eyes. We'll take a deep breath. And it's okay to make a sound. Take a breath. So close your eyes and take a deep breath. And I'm going to ask you to imagine with me. Imagine that on your lap is a book, and that this book is open. On the left side of the book are lots of pages. On the right side of the book are lots of pages. The only difference is that on the left side of the book, all the pages are written upon. And on the right side of the book, except for a little bit of writing, everything else is blank. And for these, every single page is one of the days of your life. So on the left side of the book are all the days of your life you have lived. And on the right side of the book, there's a little bit of writing because it's now about 12 o'clock in the afternoon and you've made some decisions to get up. You might have worked out, you might have eaten something, in some kind of way you found yourself in this room. So everything that you thought and done and felt and dreamed is documented in the archives of your life. Now for this exercise, notice all of the white pages, all the possibilities, all that, whatever you choose as daughters of this universe, you have been given powers. And you have been given authority, and it comes as your birthright. But will you use it consciously or unconsciously? Will these pages be written by design or by default to the old patterns of what's been written before? So this is your moment. So for this exercise, let's move into imagining. Imagine yourself just lifting up, 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 up. You're gazing from a high point of view. It might be a beautiful mountain or some other way in which you feel comfortable. You're looking down upon the landscape of your life, and you're currently living. And you're going to explore 4 domains of life in the spectrum of your life. So for this exercise, we will explore 4. We'll listen in to what you have to say about where you're fulfilled and where you want more. Whether you are seeking to emerge, there's no right and there's no wrong. It's just simply, what do you want? What would you want? So let's start in the domain of our physical world, our body temples. This is the body suit that we have used for being able to live in this dimension. In terms of your relationship with your body, where's the longing and where's the discontent? Do you have a longing for more flexibility, more balance, more freedom of movement, a more acute mind, better memory? What is the longing? And ladies, we have been given patterns of how our bodies are supposed to be that are dysfunctional and harmful. So please remember that only 2% of the population looks like the magazine. So I want you to think about what a healthy idea of being in a relationship with your body really looks like and well and functions like. Do you have the strength and the stamina and the aliveness? What is your longing? Is there some discontent? Is there an answer to your longing and the antidote to your discontent? What would that picture be like? So imagine yourself living in a body that is the answer to your longing and the antidote to your discontent. What would that be like? So just for a moment, call forth that image. Now let's shift to the domain of your relationships. You have relationships in your life right now. Is there a longing in your life in regards to relationships? Are you currently in a relationship that you long to take deeper and have it be more fun, more intimate, more caring, more supportive, more awakening? Is there a longing to deepen your relationships with your children, your parents, your spouse, your friends? Do you long for more harmony with your coworkers or the person you share your work with? Where's the longing in regards to your relationship? Do you long to bring someone into your life, whether it be a companion, a spouse, or a partner? And if you did, what is that relationship? What would it be like? What are the components of it? What does it feel like? What are you doing? Is there some discontent in the field of your relationships? Is there discord or distance? Is there difficulty with someone with whom you share the journey with? And they could be in this dimension or they could go into the next dimension. It really doesn't matter. The solving of that discord has nothing to do with them. It happens in you. So in the field of your relationships, where's your longing and where's your discontent? And just pull forth that image. Now let's move into the domain of your creative endeavor or your work in the world. How you express you creatively. Where's the longing? Do you long to create a new business or expand the business that you're in? Do you want to write a book, start an organization? Do you really long to help others to make a difference? Do you long to have a client load that's so full that you're sorting through because there are so many offers and contracts that you get to choose from? The question becomes, which one will I make the best with the most difference? So where should I spend my time? Do you long to create a hobby? Have you always wanted to dance, play the piano? In the area of your life where you create and express your own creativity, what images light you up? And where's your discontent? Are you discontented somehow with how you spend your time just to make money? That is not really in the field of your interest or your purpose? If you were then to create an image that is the answer to your longing and the antidote to your discontent, what would that picture be? And what are you doing? How are you spending your time? How are you feeling? What is that like? Bring forth that image. Let's conclude now with the fourth domain, which is the domain in which we move in the material world with our freedom and flow. And this means how we spend our money and spend our time, so both time and money. So we're in the terms of your ability to move freely. It's what you want to be, what you want to do. Is there a longing for greater flow that produces a financial freedom to choose what you want to do, go where you want to go, and give what you want to give? Remember that money is really only good for giving us the capacity to be comfortable enough so that we're being creative enough to deliver our gift. Where's the longing in the area of freedom and flow to move the material world? Where's the discontent? Are you tired of wondering if you can find that $1,000, $6,000, $10,000, or $20,000 to do what you want to do? What if the last time you ever had to think and wonder, how am I going to find that money to do something? What if by getting the awareness you absolutely had access because it was my life in the universe? And I haven't Father wants you to have what you want to have. So where's your love? Where's your discontent? And if you created an image, antidote to your discontent. What is that image? Now bring all four wavelengths together. Imagine a life in physical, relational, creatively, and your work in the world and financially. You were able to create a life that when you consider this life, you go, yeah, I would love that life. I, the you that is speaking to you, I would love that life. Create a picture. What does that life look like in all 4 areas? It is clear in all the details of what it is you would love and what you want. Now take about 10 to 15 seconds to anchor it in. You're going to have all kinds of times afterwards to fill it in and add a little bit. But get a picture. Get a picture. Clear a picture of what that looks like. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room. Okay? All right. So now, partner 2, you're going to go first. So what we're going to do, we're going to share our dreams. Go ahead. You're fine.
No, what'd you say, partner what?
You're 1, right?
Hey, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So partner 2, you're going to go first. We're sharing your dreams. So partner 1, you play a very, very, very important role. And keep in mind that the power of someone is offering you is in a fragile state. Anything can come out. Some unusual things that come out during this exercise. So I want you to have the freedom, number 2, B, to say whatever it is that comes out. Don't control it. Just allow spirit to just move in. Just let it go. And so, partner 1s, you're not going to give your opinion. You're not going to say, well, I think you should do this. Or, no, I think you want. It's not your dream. It's not the life that you want to live. So this is a monologue. So the person that is speaking, they're the only ones that are going to be talking. And you're going to be a whiteboard. You're going to hold them at their highest good. And you're going to just allow them to relate and tell you exactly what it is that they want in those 4 areas. And so, when you're telling what it is you want, it's what you would love. So, for an example, I don't want to go and see the lady who stands up in the middle of the river holding a torch, and I have to climb 37 flights of stairs, and I don't want to take the boat ride out there. What am I describing? The Statue of Liberty. But I created a picture. So you're going to be sharing what you do want, what you would love. And a lot of times that's hard for people because we've been programmed and we've been conditioned to focus on what we don't want. So what you would want. What would you love? So the person in front of you is an luminous light being. And there's nothing that they can say that is out of the capacity of me. So what we're going to do, we're going to take about 5 minutes. And partner 2, your partner 1, you have to get permission for them to be open and honest, and you have to let them know that your dream is safe with them. And it's not your business to go out and tell somebody else what Marla's dream is or vice versa. So your dream is safe and it stays in the dream. So now we're going to go ahead and get started, and the ones listening are just listening, and the ones talking, just open up and let it go. So go ahead and get started. So, partner 1, you're going to reflect back partner 2's dream to them. And that's why I said be very specific so they can paint a picture for you. So you're going to give her dream, you're going to tell it to her, and you're going to tell her what it is she wants. And so it'll take about 5 minutes to do that. Oh, and you ladies are not, you're listening, you're taking it in. You're paying attention to your longings and your discontent. So if she tells you something that makes you go light up, that's good. If she says something that makes you go, You really want to do that. Pay attention to what's making you go up, and pay attention to makes you do that. So you're just listening. It's a monologue. Nah, I didn't tell you that. I didn't say that. I said a beach house, not a farmhouse. So yeah. So go ahead and share. Tell them what they told you. And it's not uncommon for tears to come. A little girl told me, she said, Miss Carrie, every time you speak, people cry. She's like, yes. When the heart opens, the eyes leave. So your heart is open, and that's the goal. To just open up and to get out what needs to come through. That's probably because it happens every time. Yeah. So, partner one, get your last munchies in, because it is your time to share your dream. And it holds dream. So Marla and Colette, your dream is going to be, they're going to ask, is it safe for me to give my dream to you, and is it safe? And of course, you're going to say yes. And it's a monologue. You're holding Patty at her highest good. You're holding Marla at her, you're holding Deanne at her highest good. And it's a monologue. So only one person is talking. And you ready, set, and go. How did that feel? Verbalizing. Good? Okay, so partner B or 2 or whoever you are, you know the routine. Flip it. Flip it. Yeah. You're going to share her dream with her, and you're going to share her dream with her, and give her back the picture that she painted in your mind. And Patty, again, you're going to just listen, pay attention to your longings, pay attention to your discontent, what makes you go, what makes you, did I say that? Pay attention to that, okay? Go. Like I was telling Paulette, it's like cement on the ground, and it's still wet. So you have time to write Carrie in there, you have time to write Patty in there. You can put handprints in there. You can put your handprints in there. You can put whatever you want in there because it's still wet. So Patty or organic or something. Yeah. So if there's something that you want to add, I forgot about. Then take a minute or so just to add something that you might have forgotten about. World money crisis. What's wrong with U.S. medicine? Why nothing seems to work? The battle of the economy. Is the U.S. going broke? War in the Middle East. The big freeze. The big headache, our economy. The energy mess. Smog in Los Angeles. Doctoring our economy, what will work? Does that sound familiar? Is that going on right now?
Every time you turn on the news,
Each and every one of those are from 30 years ago.
oh my gosh. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, each and every one are from 30 years ago.
Scripture that says there's nothing nobody's
Absolutely.
It's so true.
And the only thing that changes is us. And we make changes. So let me tell you a little bit about me. Some of you know me very well. Some of you it's first meeting me, and some of you know me a little bit. About 3 years ago, I have an insurance background. Over 18 years in insurance. Any aspect that you can think of, I've done. And about maybe 4 years ago now, I knew that there was something more for me in my life. I was very comfortable at my job. I mean, it was to the point where I didn't even have to think to it. I, show up. But I've always enjoyed working with people. And as the years went on, that urge, it started getting stronger and stronger. There's something more that I want to do. And so you're right, it's a spiritual thing. So that urge got stronger and stronger. And so with my job, they were talking about layoffs and cutting back. And we would get the emails and we'd have these huge meetings for an hour talking about that. So the idea was in my head. I said, okay, it's a possibility, but I've been here 18 years. I think it's the new movies. So the first swoop came through, and that was in May. And they got the senior people, and I said, but in the back of my mind, I was a little disappointed that my name wasn't called. So then, in October, my college that I graduated from, Brigham University, homecoming, football game, everybody comes back to Texas and we have a great time. I have my friends at my house, I have a party, I have guests. So this particular weekend, I mean a great weekend. Friends and just fun. So Monday morning, I go to work and I have my purse and I'm getting ready to get started and I'm just strolling in, just beaming, walking on heaven. And my manager, she said, Carrie, I need to talk to you. I said, okay, what's up? So I'm walking over towards her desk and she said, no, we need to go to Kendall. I said, oh, okay. And at that moment, it felt like, now Kim's office is no further than to the bathroom. But at that moment when I had to walk there, it seemed like I had to walk across the freeway. And it reminded me of being back in elementary school. Ooh, look at Carrie. She's going to the principal's office. What did she do? What's going on? So that was the longest walk I've probably ever had to take. And so when I got in Kim's office, she told me what she needed to tell me. If you need to fill it out, you know the process. You have to sign the papers and contact HR and all those good things. And so I was real calm and feeling not myself, and so I thanked her. And I went back and got my purse and I left. Surprisingly enough, they didn't escort me out. A lot of times they escort you out like you're a criminal, but they didn't escort me. So I went to my car and I immediately started crying. And I waved my hands. And I said, okay, God. You do it. And I knew then that I would never be put in that situation again. I said, I'm not going back. But this is how God works. While working, I got introduced to an incredible network marketing company. And so in this company, a lot of personal development. And I never was a big reader. But I would have, I would go to the meetings and I would listen to the speakers and I would do this. And I really started enjoying the books that I was reading. Sorry, here I go. And I told James, I said, James, sometimes I get choked up when I talk about this. So the 2 years that I was doing the network marketing, meanwhile, I'm thinking this money is for my daughter's activities, to travel, to catch up on extra bills. So overnight, my part-time gig became my full-time job, literally overnight. So I was scared, and I felt like I was stuck. Have any of you been stuck? Yeah, I was stuck. And being stuck stinks. Being stuck is no fun. So I said, okay, well, this is what I have to do. And I knew, I actually really enjoyed it. I had a mentor and she was so precious to me. She would allow me to ride with her and she would talk to me. And I did everything that I could do. So it wasn't like I wasn't making money, because I was. It wasn't like I wasn't recruiting quality people, because I did. It wasn't like I wasn't doing all the things that I was told to do. But I had hit the top. I was stuck. And I knew that there was more for me to do. Long story short, I took a class Had a one-on-one. Marla, you're familiar with one-on-ones. Had a one-on-one with the networking group that I belong to, and she said, well, Carrie, you might be interested in this class. She said, everything that we're talking about, you might be interested in. Okay, I'll take the class. And so she said, but the only thing is, we're going into the third week, and I remember her making that announcement that after 2 weeks, they're not going to let anybody else in. I said, oh, really? In my mind, I said, I'm going to be in the class. And there was nothing that was going to stop me. I said, okay, what's the instructor's name? And she told me her name. As soon as I got in my car, I called the church. And I said, Miss B2. And she said, this is. So my name is Carrie Wheeler. I understand that you have this class. And I would love to participate. And she said, well, that's great, but we're not letting anyone else in. And I said, well, sure. You can make an exception for me. And she called. And she said, well, put it that way. She said, she gave me this laundry list. She's taught at the church. She gave me this laundry list of things that I had to do. You have to read this, you have to do this. And I said, but I knew there was something in that class for me. It was 10 weeks. I said, there's something there for me. So I told her, I said, that's fine. So I rearranged my schedule. I went to her office, did all the work. Got in the class. We had to write a vision statement. I promise you, one sentence is all I wrote. Everything else was about my daughter and getting married and, the money I want to make, where I want to live, on the water. One sentence. I would love to travel the world, share this information with women so they can be free. That is my mission, for women to be spiritually free so we can control what we're supposed to control, so our kids will have what they're supposed to have, so we can live the life that we're supposed to live. And too many of us are stuck, and there is an answer. There is a completely different way of living. So the information that I'm going to share with you, the information I'm going to share with you has completely changed my life, in all areas of my life. Financially, spiritually, emotionally, my health, everything has improved. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is your mind, and this is the body. And if you notice, the mind is huge, and the body is little. Unfortunately, we spend too much time and put too much conscious effort into the small part. So the top part of the mind, this is your conscious mind. The bottom part of the mind is your subconscious mind. And so, this is your thinking mind, the part up here. This is where your awareness is. This is where your free will is. This is where everything happens with your thinking. This is your free will. The bottom part, this is your emotional mind. So you get to choose your thoughts, and if you're writing in the thing, you choose, that's the C, you choose your thoughts. The T is the thoughts. When you choose your thoughts causes feelings. So you choose your thoughts become feelings. Your feelings expression action, and then those actions become your results. And that's what happens. So you choose a thought, the thought becomes a feeling, the feeling becomes an action, and then that action becomes your results. So this is the mind and how it works. And if you notice, it says the mind, not your mind, not my mind, it is the mind. There is only one mind, and that is the mind of God. The mind of the universe, the mind of whoever you want to call it, but it's only one mind. And we're all connected spiritually. And so once you understand, have a real crystal clear understanding of how this works and what happens, then things start to move a lot smoother. Life becomes so much easier to live. So this is the comfort zone. Everybody's heard about the comfort zone. So the X's, this is where your heart of hearts is. So down here in your subconscious mind, is your heart of hearts. Everything that has ever happened to you, every experience has happened and it's stored here in your heart of hearts. So everything that you think about yourself, every good thing, every bad thing, that's where it's stored. And so it has to filter in to your subconscious mind, but this is the filter. This is what governs what happens to us in life. So we have things that we want to do, and we really want to do it, but we can't do it because that stops us. Because that's what you really think about yourself, is what's down there. Not what you want, it's what is really true about you. Yes, Mom?
So does it filter everything we do or don't do?
Everything. Everything is stored in your heart of hearts. Yes, everything is stored in your subconscious mind from childhood on up. And so what happens when we want to advance forward and do things, our subconscious mind, it has to filter through there. So our subconscious mind will say something like, or remember when you went up for that promotion and you didn't get it. Or remember you tried out for cheerleading and you didn't. You know, they told you that you were fat, or they told you that you were this. So all of that stuff comes up. Those are the voices that we hear when we want to move forward and do something that we're supposed to be doing. So this is what happens. An idea comes in, and that's what these arrows are. An idea comes in from the majesty of God. Every idea or every thought that comes, that drops into your mind, it comes from God. So if you have an idea or a dream to do something, if it drops in, it is already done. But it has to filter through that X, and those X's create your results. So this is what happens. It goes in and it says match, no match, match, no match. Oh, I think I want to go to this workshop. Match. So you do it. Oh, I think I want a business making $30,000 a month. It drops in, it filters, it governs, not a match. Boop! Kicks it out. So everything that comes in is either a match or no match. And that's what happens.
Based on our past.
Based on our past, exactly. Based on our beliefs, based on who you think you are, not what you want, but it's based on the real you, your true authentic self. So you have your comfort zone, then the idea drops in, outside idea drops in from the majesty of God. You have an idea, one of your dreams. For an example, Dan, what's one of the things that you want to accomplish?
Write 2 books.
Beautiful. It's done. So, Deanne wants to write 2 books. So that idea drops in. So then, when it comes in, it sinks in, and it's either going to be a match or no match. If it's not a match, you hit the terror barrier.
Oh, I like that.
You hit the wall. And when you hit that wall, fear, worry, anxiety, doubt, all of those things start to attack you. And that's called the voices, that's called whatever you want to call it, but today,
It's my mother, just so you know.
you can call it mom, but for today, we're going to call that voice Cece. And her name is Conscious Cindy. Cindy loves you, but Cindy wants to make sure that you're doing the right thing. So, for an example, Deanne, you want to write 2 books. So the Cece will say, well, you haven't finished anything else that you wanted to do, or you haven't, all the voices come up to stop you. And then you hit the wall. And you're either going to move forward and step into freedom, or you're going to revert back to safety. And unfortunately, what most people do, well, as soon as they hit that wall, any bit of resistance, they revert back to what's comfortable. And that's okay. But there are ways and techniques to get past that wall to get you on the other side. So, just to review, you have your comfort zone. That's where you are. That's where you're storing ideas. Your ideas are having paying rent in between your ears. That's where your comfort zone is. It's just where you are. And your comfort zone is not necessarily good or not necessarily bad. It's just where you are at this time. So the idea comes in, I want to write 2 books. You really want to. And I'm not picking on you, I'll use something else. You want to, live in
I've
this.
already worked through this, so that's fine.
Okay, you want to write 2 books. The idea comes in, and you said, this is what I want to do. Match or no match? No match. Kicks in, you hit the wall. If you do not revert back to safety, and if you push forward, then you're going to push through to freedom. And so you're now on the other side of what it is that you're wanting to do. Now that's not a very easy thing to do unless you're able to have the capacity and the skill level to control what happens with our thinking. About a month ago, I was in San Antonio, and I was sitting out on the patio. Wonderful time reading a book and drinking whatever I was drinking, a glass of wine. And my attention was, it was really arrested by this. I knew it was a fly. So the fly was in the windowsill, and it was working incredibly hard trying to get through the windowsill. So I stopped and I watched it, and it was just, the little wings were just going and going and going and going. And I said, wow, look at this. This is exactly what happens to us. So the fly was trying harder. So that was the thought process of the fly. The fly thought, if I just work harder, maybe I'll get through the windowsill. Well, sometimes working harder is not the answer for what it is that you're supposed to be doing. You have to have a strategy for what it is that you want to do. So for the fly, he was working so hard, trying to get to the windowsill. And if only he had changed his thinking, if only he had changed how he could do things, the door was open. The sliding door was open. If it would have just taken 10 seconds to fly, literally around the thing, it would have reached the freedom. But that's what happens to us. We get stuck. And so we do what people tell us to do. They adjust us to death. I get so tired of people saying, oh, Carrie, you just have to do this, or you just have to do that. And so there was a point in my life where I was adjusting myself to death. I did anything with the word just in it. Just do this and just do that. Well, I said, no, wait a minute. There's a thought process behind the just. So when someone says, I just got a new client, or I just got this great relationship, what you want to know is, what's the thinking process behind that? What is the awareness of this person? How do you just get something? And so for a person who is not conscious in their thinking and not aware of what's going on, you get caught up in working harder. Or maybe I need to make more phone calls. Okay, I make 10 calls, I spend an hour on making phone calls. Or maybe I need to do more. Maybe I need to, it's always something more that you need to do. Maybe I need to stay on the treadmill an hour and a half versus an hour. Maybe I need to increase my weight. It's always something. Maybe I need to change my hair color. Maybe that'll make guys like me more. It's always something that you just need to do. But what you have to understand is the thought process and the awareness behind the just. So the idea drops in, it says it's a match, now you're on the other side of the freedom. So this goes back to our original quote. If a person will advance confidently in the direction of their dream and endeavor to live the life that they've imagined, they will meet with success, unexpected and common hours. Look at the pride. Look at the confidence. So now, I want you to find your partner, and this time, just switch seats.
Switch seats.
Yeah, so just plop. You won't use it exactly. So now we're going to have an opportunity to energetically put on our ring. So it's 3 years from now, and it's 3 years from now, and you're running to Mama, and you say, "Oh my God, Marla, I haven't seen you in forever. The last time I saw you, we were at Carrie Wheeler's Lunch and Learn. What's going on in your life?" And then Marla begins to tell where you are, what are you doing 3 years from now. And I want you to go into character, do whatever you need to do. But 3 years from now, what is your life going to be like?
Anytime her head goes back like that, make sure the camera's over there, just saying.
So for 3 years from now, what is your life going to be like? So who are my B's or twos? So you guys go first. So Deanne's going to say, "Oh my God, Marla, I haven't seen you in forever. What's going on? The last time I saw you, you were at Carrie's workshop. What's going on in your life?" And you tell her exactly where you're going to be in 3 years. Paint her a picture and put it on. And it actually works if you stand up. Some people like to stand up because then you can really feel it. But I want you to put all of your senses into it and actually act as if it's 3 years from now and you are living that life. Okay, ladies? There you go. Go. So, life equals risk. And risk is another word for faith. So in order to do the things that you're wanting to do, you have to have faith. And you have to alter the way that you're doing things now. So we're at the end. And so what I'm going to give you is a seed. Some of you will keep it, some of you will put it in your purse, somebody will throw it away. It doesn't really matter, but that seed represents your life. And the secret is in the seed, and that seed represents you. So a seed has been planted today. You all have been exposed. And so you're going to have to evolve and expand now that you have been exposed and that you all have energetically put your dream into place. Remember I went back to saying the questions that you asked? Well, you all have asked some mighty big questions, and so they're going to come true for you. Some might come quicker than others. It all depends on how you process it and the thinking that goes behind it. So hopefully, I hope that diagram helped you to understand what really happens to us. We want to do things, but our mind stops us. CC stops us from doing the things that we want to do. And if what I've shared with you today, if it resonates with you and you have an understanding, you want more understanding, then for you, your next step is to move forward into the program that I told you about. And so on the back of the thing, there's a questionnaire. So it just comes off. And what I'd like for you to do is to fill it out and let me know what you're interested in doing. So for some of you, if you want more understanding, then we'll move forward with that. But so if you're tired of fear keeping you stuck, and are you ready to step into your purpose? Are you ready for more confidence, more time, more money? Well, for you, your next step is to complete the card and request a strategy session with me, and then we'll go into deeper with what it is you're wanting to do, have a goal assessment, and just see exactly where you are, and see if we can come up with some strategies to get you there a lot quicker.
I just finished with a workshop with Carrie Wheeler with Unmask Your Authentic Self, and my mind has been expanded as to what is possible for me in my life. I have a clear picture, I've got clarity, and whenever there's clarity, there's no stopping you.
I just completed a workshop with Carrie Wheeler on Unmask Your Authentic Self. And what it was for me was an absolute total affirmation of some things that had come up for me, and I'd asked for an affirmation. So I just want to thank Carrie and all of the work that she does. Come and spend some time with Carrie, and you'll be able to figure out what some affirmations are for you and where your authentic self lies.
What I got out of it was the fact that I have a seed that may be within me that is not sprouted. And because of what she went through and the organization of her program, it allowed me to expand my dreams a little more and see that I have a lot more that I can give and bring to the world. And anyone that's watching this should really consider coming and opening up their minds and their thought processes with Carrie.
I just finished a class with Carrie Wheeler. Unmasking my authentic self. It is one of the most awesome things I've ever been through. I highly, highly recommend it for anybody. The thing that I got out of it mostly is I can still dream. I'm not too old to dream, and not to let anything come in between me and my dreams.